I've been driving around in my car, looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work it out with my charm. Having a good time, ain't doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright.
Mama, man means by no means king of the road. Good morning and welcome to the Nerd in a big truck in motion that's currently loaded with a lot of heavy aggregate. We've got 40 mil on board at the moment. Oh, I thought that was a Hoya tanker then. Because you know what you got to do. If you see them Hoya tankers, you got to go, oh yeah! Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah! But obviously that one wasn't. Go on, girl. So, yeah, I'm not going to tell you the location of where we're going to, but it's on the edge of Huddersfield, and my music is determined to play. Yeah, so we're going to the edge of Huddersfield. This is probably one of the more rural locations that I've had to deliver to, and we're going to take this truck through Flopton, which is a little bit tight, if I'm honest. I feel sorry for the people of Flopton, because everybody uses their village as a rat run, and really it's not the best way of getting through Huddersfield, or getting to Huddersfield, or Huddersfield to the motorway. And there needs to be a bypass. That's what we need. We need a bypass. There we go. I've had these 20-mile-an-hour signs up now for months. Nobody's been bothered to take them out. If I do 20 mile an hour, I'm going to struggle getting up that hill. But it's beautiful farmland out here. It's the Shire horses. Woo! He's a big boy. And we're going past a very famous house that was on Grand Designs and all that jazz up here. It's the old water tower that's now a house. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera, but it's raining a little bit as well. Oh, there's a dead stoat on the road there. Here we go, this is a famous house. I don't know if you can see that. It's just here. And there's a prison just over to the right of us. Pretty nasty one from what I can gather. Yeah. So there's no road markings here, so we just have to take it steady. What are these like to drive? I hear you say, well, it's quite a different experience to what I've learned on HGVs when I was doing my tests, because obviously I drove rigid and I drove class 1s, and this is kind of in between the pair, so you don't have to swing it out anywhere near as much as you do a rigid, an Arctic, because you just don't need to, you haven't got the length. But you don't have the swing at the back that a rigid has, because this has virtually no overhang at the back, because you go off-road and obviously it's tipping. The overhang at the back is minimal. So it's let me just concentrate, I don't want to. We'll do some creeping and peeping. Good. Got to floor it. She's grabbing a gear. Yeah, so it drives more like a really big van. That's the only way I can explain it. So you don't have to do the overhangs like overhang the pavement and stuff like that to get around. It just doesn't need it. And with the 4 front wheel steering, yeah, it pretty much goes wherever you point it. Just slow down here. Bust out some exhaust retarder. So I was corrected today on a comment that I'd made on the live stream about the retarder brake on this truck. So I called it, because the Americans call it a Jake brake, but apparently Type Trucking was telling me Jake brakes are like a completely different thing, and they're like, it's like a brand name like Hoover. So the Jacobs brake it was called. So these don't have that. So this is completely different, and it also doesn't have like some have like a box on the back of the gearbox that has like a torque converter, I guess you could call it, with a stator in it that runs in reverse. These don't have that. They've just got an exhaust braking, really. But yeah, it sounds epic when you use it. But on the brake pedal on these MANs, the brake isn't just the standard brake pedal. So if you press it a little bit, the first part, there you go, exhaust brake's on, but it's not pushing the pads to the discs. So it just literally puts on the brake retarder. Then you push a bit harder, and it'll probably knock it down a gear, and it'll apply the brakes at the same time. Now, there's a little shortcut up here that I went down last time, and it worked fine, but it is a bit of a struggle getting up the hill, but it saves a massive amount of time. Oh my god. Yeah, this is its phone. It's not really suitable for a 32 tonner, but it will do it. So we'll probably just keep driving. Go up to the roundabout instead. Yeah, normally what I do is take a left down here. There's no sign that says you can't go down there, but it does cut a load of time off. Yeah, so I enjoy driving these. The only thing is about the only similarity these have to Arctics is that these are massive. So it's as wide as an Arctic. You hear my exhaust brake. And it is as high as an Arctic at the front. The cab's roughly the same size. Obviously we don't have a sleeper in these, but we do have a cool box, which is important. So yeah, that is the one thing that is similar. Other things that are different, air brake is back here, along with your tipper controls, and you have a PTO, which you don't have in a Arctic. Well, some you do, but yeah, it's pretty good in here. I've got all the mod cons. This actually has sat nav on it as well, but it's a bit out of date, so I use TomTom on my phone. It's got everything. Yeah, I've got flashing lights on the roof and all around it, which makes me feel happy every time I use them. Got aircon, I've probably already said that. Got a big squishy air seat. I've got cruise control. I've got all my steering wheel controls for music. Yeah, it's great. It's not a bad place to work from, to be fair. Power steering's nice. You do find yourself steering a lot in these, because obviously you're doing a lot of short trips as well. So you never seem to not steer. And also, especially when they're unloaded, they're really bumpy. So right now we're loaded up to the max, and it's not too bumpy at all, to be honest. It's quite smooth, but as soon as we take the weight out of the back, it's really hard and quite bouncy. But yeah, it's alright. I do like it. It's good experience, really is good experience working with trucks. So I am definitely enjoying every minute of it. And also it's really good for learning town driving and being in tight spots with a big vehicle. So obviously you're not getting that articulated body experience, but you are getting the experience of having something massively wide and tall. So I'm going to indicate here. I'll let the Landy go because he's way faster than me. And I'm going to use both lanes. I have to. I could have done it and had it in one lane, but we've got some adverse camber on here and we're fully loaded, so there's no point in stressing out. This engine is trying its absolute utmost. Oh, we've got a racer in a Yaris overtaking me at very low speed. There we go. You'll see how close people like to be behind you, which is just ridiculous. There we go. Are you really going to overtake there? He is. I'm going to slow down. What an absolute spoon. Not a good spot to overtake there. But he did it. I slowed down for him. Right, I'm going to turn it off because I want to see my customer. So I brought in quite a lot of 40mm, and the horse is looking at me because I've left my lights on. Yeah, I brought a lot of 40mm into there already. Last week I brought absolutely loads, but basically it's on, you're tipping at the side of a dirt road, and the truck is, well, how can I explain it? They want you to stay as far to one side as you possibly can, so that they can yeah, so when you're dropping up there, they want you to drop on the right hand side of the road, which is only wide enough for one vehicle, but when you go and you try and like get into it, it's boggy either side. So what I tend to do is I try and bring the back of the truck up and then get it as close to the pile of dirt, pile of aggregate that we've already put in there, and pull the back in slightly. But this time I did it, I was moved right over, but what they don't like is if you drop it and then drag and then you leave like a massive long pile. So I basically tipped the body up, let it all come out for ages and ages before I shunted forward slightly, and it had buried the back tyre. It got up on the mound that was already there and then got in between my wheels on my right hand side, and then I couldn't move. I was completely stuck. So anyway, I rocked it backwards and forwards with the diff locks on and everything, and then I was able to get out. So yeah, it was a bit sketch. I was like, oh, I might be getting stuck. But yeah, I just rocked it backwards and forwards, and then she popped on out. So I've I've had to check the tyres for like any dip, like properly stuck in stones, but yeah, they look fine. The key is never to go mental. If you start to get stuck, then don't just try and kick your foot hard to the floor. Sometimes that's the right thing to do if you've got a bit of momentum. But if you haven't got that momentum, then you need to just stop and reassess. So then I started, putting diff locks on, rocking backwards and forwards, and then we were somewhere near then. I always hate passing that restaurant back there. Well, it used to be a restaurant, I don't know if it is now. That scaffolding, I just got dreams of visions of the tipper body catching the edge of it and just tearing all the scaffolding down. Or ripping the body off the truck, one of the two. So that's that drop. So now we're heading back to the wash plant to pick up whatever else. I might be coming straight back here, or I could be going to somewhere else. I don't really know. I'm blinded by the light.